Hi, how you doing? Thank you so much for being here. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about guitar maintenance, okay? One thing about these guitars, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, is they need to be maintained from time to time. Sometimes if you live in an area where the weather changes quite a bit, you're going up and down in temperature, that can really cause havoc on your guitar. I'm out here in Colorado and our temperature is going up and down all the time. Like just recently we got an Arctic blast that came through here and we're starting to warm up now, but for a while there we had a really cold weather, like below zero. And I remember one day it was at 9 degrees and the next day it was going to be like 30. You know, that's a big temperature change, and that stuff can definitely affect your guitars, especially if it's like on a stand or it's hanging up on the wall or something like that. I usually try to, keep my guitars warm and stuff like that. And what I noticed that is, this is the guitar that I teach with a lot, I do my lessons with and stuff, is this one right here. When I take it in and out of the, in and out of the house, into the car, and back of the house, into the lessons, getting through these, especially in the winter, it's going through this cold and warm kind of temperature change, and it causes sometimes a little bit of fret buzz. And this is the reason why I want to make this video, because you might be experiencing something like this as well. Okay, even if your guitar is hanging on the wall, you pick it up, you haven't played in a while, you go to play and you say, hey, wait a minute, how come this sounds really weird right here? Well, it's because it's adjusted a little bit with the weather, and sometimes it'll adjust back. I've had that happen too, where guitars will have some fret buzz, and then I'll set it down and the weather will change and the guitar will adjust back to the way it was, and then I'll go to pick it up to fix it. Now the fret buzz isn't there anymore. So that does happen, but let's say you're getting some fret buzz. I was getting some fret buzz right here in these frets here, and so I want to just give you a little quick lesson on what you need to do to adjust that. Alright, so let's take a look. Okay, so here we have the guitar. This is my trusty mat that I got from Kevin for Christmas. Thank you, Kevin, for that. Appreciate it. Got my guitar on here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Like I said, when you live in an area that the weather changes, it definitely can affect your guitar. I'm out here in Colorado, and we can go from like 9 degrees to 30 the next day. And that's a huge temperature change, and it could affect your guitar, especially if it's sitting out on a stand or something like that. Sometimes you get a little fret buzz. It's just the way it is. Wood and metal, they expand, they contract with weather conditions. So I noticed on my guitar it was kind of buzzing a little bit right here, and this guitar is a little kind of beat up, as you can tell. I played the heck out of it. I've had this thing forever. So I was getting a little fret buzz here. So what you do is, if you're getting some fret buzz up here in these few frets, what you want to do is adjust the truss rod. Now if you take off your cover, there's a truss rod in here. Let me see if I can show you that. See, can you see that little rod in there? See that thing right there? That's your truss rod, and it's designed. Now sometimes on the guitar the truss rod is down here, okay? It might be down here where you adjust it, okay? On this particular one, this is an older one, this one's on here. And sometimes you have different ones. They use like an Allen wrench sometimes is what's used. An Allen wrench like this can be used. You just pop it in there and adjust it. But with this one is used what's called an Allen wrench. This is a really old model. This is from like 94 or something like that. So what you do is you just put it in. I took off the cover, put that through the strings, and you just pop it in there. As you can see, it's in there. And then if I adjust it one way, it tightens it. If I adjust it this way, it loosens it. Now, since I'm getting some fret buzz in here, that tells me that the neck has moved closer to the strings. So what I want to do is I want to loosen it like this so that it adds a little relief. And then the frets are going to move away from the string, and then that way when I use it, I'm not going to get that fret buzz on there, okay? And so what you do is you just kind of adjust it, okay? So that's what you do with your guitar. You just adjust it until it eliminates that fret buzz, and you'll see that that'll happen, okay? It can also work the other way too, is if your strings are further away from the neck, if they're too far from the neck, and you want to it's hard to hold the strings down when you're playing your open chords, then I would do is adjust it, tighten it this way, and it'll bring the neck closer to the strings, and then you'll get a lower action. So it works both ways, and that's what I did. I did that. Alright, so there we have it. A little bit of adjustment on the You just, like I said, you just adjust it here. I'm gonna put the plate back on there now, because I've got it adjusted. But if you can listen, now it doesn't have that fret buzz anymore. It was right here on the 2nd fret. Now this guitar's been around a while. It's about 30 years old, and I play it all the time, as you can see from the fretboard. The truss rod adjustment that I just showed you, as you can tell, has definitely improved that fret buzz that was there. So if you're having that problem with your guitar, I would highly recommend checking that out. Take your either an Allen wrench or a wrench, truss rod wrench like I had, figure out which one you need and adjust it. Okay, and like I said, loosen it or tighten it, whichever is best for you. If you have high action here in these frets, when you're trying to hold down these natural chords, I would recommend tightening it, because it's going to allow the fretboard and the strings to get closer together and give you better action, be easier to hold down the chords. So that's one thing that's real important there. If you're having your fret buzz more up in this area here, if your area is more up in here, then it would probably be best to adjust the bridge here, okay? So I would say the bridge up in this area, in this lower area here, I would do the truss rod. Alright, so there we have it, a simple lesson on how to maintain your guitar. I would definitely do that if you have multiple guitars. Check them once in a while, especially with the weather, you know. It goes in the winter, then we have summer, spring, all that stuff. Well, actually spring first before summer, but you know what I'm saying. And it definitely affects your guitars, especially when they're sitting out on a stand or they're hanging on the wall looking pretty and everything. You go to pick them up and play them, and all of a sudden you say, hey, what's going on here? You've got this, the note doesn't sound right. It's probably because you got fret buzz, and it could be either the truss rod adjustment, or maybe a fret might be popping out a little bit. Just a little bit is all it takes, a little bit out of adjustment, you know. And it can really definitely make a difference on the performance of your guitar. So I would highly recommend checking that out. If you don't want to do it yourself, take it to somebody and have them take a look at it too. But remember, guitars are designed to be maintained, and I would recommend trying to learn at least the basic fundamentals of how to maintain them. How to adjust your truss rod, how to adjust your bridge, okay? And those are going to make a big difference right there. Anything beyond that, check your frets, see if they're popping out at all, you know. File down the frets, because sometimes the frets, the wood shrinks, and then you get fret sprout, what they call fret sprout, which means the frets are sticking out a little bit. And you can tell when you put your hand like this. If you can feel those frets, that means that you got fret sprout, and what you need to do is, I would recommend just take like a nail file, get that to the store, and just sit in there and just file them down real good, and you'll see that it'll take it away. But if you don't want to do that, take it to professional and have them do it. All right? Thank you so much once again for being here. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you have some comments, leave those below. If you had something that you've done with your guitar that I didn't mention, feel free to put that in the comment below. Appreciate that, because that'll help other people come along and watch the video. All right, so keep practicing. Until our next video, take care. Audio Jungle.